good to see all these faces popping up on my screen. Oh, we got 200 people. I am sitting in Hilo. I'm down at the local at the fish pond, right next to the Seaside Restaurant, and I'm just a little happy right now because we have a group of gap year college students out here pulling grass out, and the view is transforming before my eyes. So I'm just super happy. So hopefully that continues through to this project. This is going to be like a workshop style, and so hopefully you guys come out with a hua, with something you can take away and use with your in whatever faculty you're in, whether you're a kumu or you work with community or with your ohana. So if you're calling in on a phone, it's going to be a little bit hard for you to like do the work, and but you know, you're more than welcome to follow along. But I'm just putting that out there. Yeah, please throw your questions up in the chat. I love questions, and if you turn your screen on, then I can kind of see what your faces are telling me. I am a kumu, so that helps me to know what's going on. At the end of the presentation, I'll throw a resource folder in the chat, so and that'll have my slides on there, and it has the moʻolelo that we're going to talk about, or a version of them. And I'll have a bunch of other resources, hopefully, that can help you continue your journey. That being said, we've all made a journey today, even if it was just from your bed to the screen, wherever you are. Maybe you're still in bed. So awesome job, you. But just so I can maybe see who is here and where you guys all are in the Aina, maybe we have people abroad. If you guys want to throw in the chat your name, if you feel comfortable, your name and the place you associate with, or the place that you are right now, whether that's your ahupua'a or your street name or your island, throw it in there in the chat. Let's get practice with this interaction with all of us. Yeah, I see. They're coming up. Yeah, and if you don't know how to see your chat in Teams, it's that little pop-out box that looks like a little speech bubble. We get Oahu. Oh, we got some Molokai people. Watch out for them. Oh, Waianai. Let's get some. Oh, see, we're all over the place. Perfect.
I see Keala.
And this is for me to get to know you, but also because we're gonna come back to these places wherever you guys are putting up. We're gonna map these out, and you can start from this place that you put up. The first moʻolelo that we're gonna share today is about Pele and her journey to Hawaii, where she started and where she ended up in Halemaʻumaʻu, where she's still digging today, and we started to see her reemerge just recently. After we do that, we're going to explore another moʻolelo, and we're going to do that one together and map that out together. So if you guys are having trouble toggling in between, just take your time, and we'll try to make this work for everybody. And again, just throw your questions up. Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen here. Yeah, and here we are. Au pele makona wa'a. A holo mai la ina aina I hanao ia e wā kia lawa o papa. O ia ho'i ka pai aina o Hawaiʻi nei. Pele has gone onto her wa'a. She's had a dispute with her sister, as siblings are apt to do. Her sister namaka o kahai, or namaka o kahai. Yeah, and so she left her home, and in different versions, depends on where her home is, but she's on this large wa'a with her ohana. Yeah, she's traveling, and she lands in Hawaii. So that is the start of our journey. Yeah. And where did she land? We're We're gonna find out.
How long is that for?
Moʻolelo are just these amazing tools to connect the plate and to connect people. And if you guys know this story or not, this might be a different version, a different mana. Yeah, because we're all telling it together today. Moʻolelo in Hawaii are really the story of Aina, and so that's what I want to concentrate on today. Tool and a connection to Aina. The names of the Aina are in there, the elements, the places, the processes, the people, they're contained in these stories. And so if you are involved with Aina in any way, in the sciences, in the history, in the just loving being outdoors, then you should study those moʻolelo because they're going to bring you closer to these places. Yeah. In fact, in their amazing wisdom, Kūpuna in the language tied these two ideas together. Land, or Aina, which the word Aina is much more than land, but this concept of places and story. Okay, the word moʻolelo, right? A story, a tale, but also a chronicle, a record of what happened. Yeah, and mo'o, a narrow strip of land, smaller than an ili, which is just down from a ahupua, but a mo'o, like a plot of land, maybe where your house is right now, where you are right now. Okay, but these small places that all have names, yeah, whether they're modern or not, but they tied those together. Mo'o and mo'olelo, they form that, or they share that same first part of the words. Yeah, and these place names are just cultural signatures. They're etched into our landscapes. Yeah, and they help transform these physical spaces into places that are enriched with meaning and significance. Yeah, they can give us a roadmap to how to live sustainably here. Right? Kūpuna did that for thousands of years. So here's a continuation of our story. Yeah, we've landed. And where did we first land? Pele located her brother Kane Milohai. Yeah, or Kane Milohai. As if to hold a place for her and build it up into fitness for human residence. For it was little more than a reef. So she left her brother, yeah, on this atoll. And she continued on with her family. And another one of her relatives gets stranded. Kaneapua, he gets stranded on Nihoa. And they land and leave, but then Kamohoalihi, the brother that was guiding the canoe, turned his canoe around and he rescued the land from Nihoa. Okay. And they landed on Ni'ihau. And here at first, Pele disembarks and she starts to dig with her wizard staff, Pa'oa. She starts to dig down to create her home, right? To create a lua, to create her crater, which is where she was gonna live. But at Ni'ihau, the Maka'okahai shows up. Her sister has followed her all the way from their ancestral homeland, and she rises up the ocean and she drowns out Pele's lua. So Pele continues on, and they battle again at Nomilo in Kauai, which is just an amazing place. And the story continues as she continues down the chain of islands. So, how has our perspective changed already? Maybe not at all. Yeah, Blake. Keep talking, okay? But for me, when you start to see these moku, these islands as ohana, as people, as characters, it takes on a different perspective.
Gotta log off that first.
Yeah, you can see in this map that shows the whole span of the islands. You know, when I was growing up, I had no idea that there was all these other moku that were actually part of our chain way out there to the northwest. I always thought, oh,
What does
Nihao,
it get?
that was the last one, but
Yeah. Which one you went
as
to?
you zoom out,
Okay,
you start to see these other ohana, these other islands that span out, and there is right in the middle you can see Kamehameha. Kamehameha. Yeah, the English name is the French frigate shoals, and we're gonna come back to that. In some versions, it was Moku Papapa where he was stranded, which is Curie Atoll, which is way out there to the northwest. But in the one that we use to teach this unit, it's the French frigate shoals, which is right in the middle of the island and what bears the brothers name. You know, and hopefully as we start to see these islands as ohana and as people and more than just a place, then we start to have some kuleana for these places, and we can start to aloha them in some way, just as these kids are outside digging up these grass and working. And so at this point, I'm gonna stop talking for a little bit, and I want to share with you the tool, the mapping project, the electronical tool that we use to tell this story. And this was a unit we created in 4th grade at Kealapono Elementary in Hilo with the Kumu there, Kumu Aaron Lyman, Lurleen Agbayani, Mel Toyama, Kim Kahawai Ola'a, and Hina Wong. And so working with them, we created this Google Earth project. And Google Earth has just come out with this web-based format, and then you can do these projects within. It used to be a lot harder. You used to have to download the whole program and anything like that. But now it's a web-based tool, which is awesome. So I'm gonna throw the link up on the chat. If you have a Hawaii.edu Google account, it might cause you problems, so you should log out of that. If you're logged into your Hawaii.edu within Google, you should log out of that before you click on the link. I want you to be thinking about a few questions though as you go through this Google Earth project. Okay, and one is at the end, how has this mo'olelo, as you've gone through it, or how has this project changed your perspective on the islands, on geology, whatever it is? Okay, and the other one is very Kumu-centric, but what are the learning targets that could be addressed? What are the learning targets that this project could deliver to students and help them understand a little bit more? So you got to put your Kumu hat on, put your teacher hat on for that one. Okay, so again, what kind of learning targets can we address with this mo'olelo and this project, and how has this mo'olelo changed your perspective? Okay. Again, log out of your Hawaii.edu if you're logged into there. Most other people, it should work fine. Okay, so I'm gonna give you the link right now. I'll get antsy, you guys. I'll throw it up. And if you can't access the link for whatever reason, I'll screen share the Google Earth as well, so you can just kind of follow along with me. The rest of you guys, I just want you guys to explore around. We'll give you guys about maybe like 4 or 5 minutes. Okay, click on the place marks on the side. It's really intuitive. Okay, so there's the link. You might have to copy and paste it into your browser. Yeah, and this is what it should show. Okay, can you guys see that? Perfect. Okay, have fun in there. Just explore around, go to the different place marks, look at the pictures. If you're familiar with Google Earth, you can drop your little man on the corner to down into the places and see those 3D views. We'll drop down into Kamehameha right here. Pretty flat, this island. Super cool tool, excellent to use during the pandemic because it's electronic, but also how would we ever get all our kids out to all these places, right? Especially in a moʻolelo that spans the Pai'aina. Yeah, you can click on the places on your island, learn a little bit more about those. I encourage you to go to Kauai and go to Pomelo. There's a movie on there that you can watch. That's actually in the Lohoia. And then there's some guiding questions on those little bubbles that pop up. And that was for the students. There's definitely good question. You can like screencast as you drive around, and I've done that a few times. Okay, what are the questions? How has this journey changed your perspective in any way? What are the learning targets you could address with this project? Okay, so people are adding places, and that is awesome. Yeah, whereas Ka'una Akane on Kauai, there's over, depending on the version, there's over 200 place names that we could have added into this project, and so we chose, I don't even know how many it is, like 12 or 13 to highlight, but you could certainly go above and beyond. Okay, so you guys get the picture, yeah? Okay, so come back to us. And let's hear some of you guys mana'o. I'm gonna pull out my PowerPoint again. What? Yeah, Kapoa doesn't look like this anymore. Yeah, true. What were those learning targets? What are some learning targets? Or how has this changed your perspective? Why don't we type that in the chat? What could we address with this? What is your Kwana Ike change your perspective? Very interesting to someone with no knowledge. Yes, I mean, fun for all ages, right? And that's the beauty of mo'olelo. You can kind of take them where you're at. And the Hawaiian mo'olelo, you can hear them a million times and learn something new. Yep, super interactive. What about some of those learning targets? If you guys are kumos out there, remember this is 4th grade, but for high school, what are some of the subjects or topics that we could get into with this? Yeah, for sure. History, industrial technology. Ooh, I like it. Yep, you can go into Google Earth yourself, but it won't have that project in there. Okay, so you guys can see the answers. These were the actual learning targets. we targeted for 4th grade. So we have some next generation science standards targets, looking at patterns in rock formations, looking at weathering and erosion, and also looking at maps, yeah, to describe patterns in the earth surfaces, and then a ton of social studies ones. We probably could have put all of them because 4th grade is the grade level where they kind of target Hawaiian history. Yeah. We did some other things too, like contrast and compare Hanauma Bay to Nomilo, and looking at how those two places, although very similar in their formation, are also very different. And so that power of two to be able to compare and contrast. Yeah. Okay, let's look at this as a moʻolelo, as a record. Yeah, we could certainly address the evolution of islands. Yeah. And as you get closer to Pele's hale, right, the islands change, and with that, there's so much biological and ecological connections to that. Yeah, there's more lava rock, it's newer. The plants that grow there are different because of that, because of the soil chemistry and geology. But in all of those, even in the seamounts, Pele is still underneath. She's the foundation, right? And this drives our hydrology, right? So even in the atolls, those lava tubes are underneath, and it drives how the water comes out. Yeah, and the way the currents upwell next to those atolls. So having that perspective that Pele is still underneath those, and is that foundation, I think is critical for our students to understand. Okay, and as we dig deeper, what was that first place that they landed? Yeah. The French frigate shoals, or Kane Miloha'i. There's a pinnacle, and you can see it on that left picture, La Perouse pinnacle. La Perouse was one of the sailors to get there, and the picture is on the right. That's the pinnacle. Okay. Why in this story was this the first place to land? La Perouse pinnacle is the oldest volcanic rock in the state that's above water. There it is, sticking up like a sentinel, yeah, like somebody on guard. Amazing, amazing. Yeah, it's contained in this story. Yeah, oh, I like how people are thinking of other projects already, because that's what we're going to do right now. We're not going to stop here, okay? Makahana kaiki, we're going to get her done. Yeah, and so we're going to map a moʻolelo right now. And if you want to map one already, like I see somebody put up the journey of Moʻikeha on the windward. If you want to start mapping that one, go for it, okay? But I kind of picked one out already for us to do in case you didn't have one pop up into your head. But we're gonna try to do this right now, so you guys are a little bit more to how to do this. Okay. So if you can sign into your Google account, sign into it, because then it'll save it for you. If you don't have one, don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. And if you want to take the project that I shared, you can copy it. And then it can become yours, and you can add to it or take away as you want to. Okay. The beautiful thing about this is it's the same thing as your Google Drive. Essentially, you can share projects as a viewer, which is how I did it with you guys. But you can also share it as an editor. So when I worked together with my Kumu, we were all editors on this, and we could add together. And I saw somebody, how long did it take you to build us? It took us about together it took us a couple days, and we usually work in the afternoons, like for an hour or something like that. So it didn't take us that long because it was a group of us, and we kind of already knew the story. The one thing about Google Earth is hopefully it worked fine for you when I was sharing, but if you have a slower interconnection and you're sharing Google Earth, it's a lot of data to load, so you're gonna kind of have a fast connection. And you can link those videos and audios like I did, but you have to link it up with YouTube. That's just the way Google is. But you can make your own little YouTube space and load your own videos in there, and it works just fine. Okay, so and Google has a ton of projects already that you can look at if you haven't if you're just becoming aware of this, on the left-hand side is that Voyager tab in Google Earth Pro, and you can explore. They have a bunch of amazing projects. They have one on voyaging with the Hokulea. They have ones about volcanoes. They have all kinds of projects. You guys can explore them later on. Okay, but what we're going to do is we're going to move back to our Google Earth tab. So I'm going to bring that up again. Okay, and I want you guys all to create a new project. Okay, so if you click on that back arrow, or you click on this little projects tab, the little square with the place mark, there should be a space at the top to click new project. It's a big blue tab. Okay, and if you click on that, it'll say create project in Google Drive or open project from Google Drive. You can just create it from your Google Drive. Okay, and we can title this project. What should we title it? Yeah, let's just title it Waiwai. Yeah, add a description. No need for that. Okay, and what we want to do is we want to start to add a feature. Are we good? Are we following along? Yeah, I see you guys looking intently at the screen. Okay, so we went to Google Earth. Oh, I see people texting in. Yeah. And if you had a trouble opening the link, then you can just go back to Google and Google Earth Web, and it'll come up. Okay, and then you can start this whole process. Okay, so we created a new project, we gave it a title, and now we're going to add a feature. So I'm going to click on new feature. Okay, and it gives you these different options. Search to add a place mark. Okay, and what I want you guys to do is search to add a place. And I want you guys to search for wherever you guys are now. Okay, or wherever a place is that you're Pili to. If that's Waipio Valley, or if it's somewhere in Waianae, or wherever you guys want to add to start that you have a relationship with already, go ahead and search for that place. So you can search it by just Waianae. You can put an address. Okay, so I'm gonna do the address of where I'm sitting right now. 1650 Kalani on Ole Avenue. There comes up. Yeah, and it should take us there. Oh, there it is. Ooh, and it's so spinny. Yeah, and then there's that button right there below, add to project. Yeah, and you want to add it to Kawaiwai. Yeah, I don't think I want to title it 1650, because that's not the name of that place. The name of this place, or this ili, is Honohono Nui. Okay, and there we go. We started. Woohoo! Good job. Okay, so I'll give it a minute for everybody to get caught up there. And you can add some other places if you want. And you can add some different kind of features. You can play around with those and see what those different ones are if you're ahead of the game. I'm gonna go back to my slideshow though. Well, everybody gets caught up, and I want to talk about moʻolelo. Yeah, remember our project is to try to, or this tool, we use it to map out moʻolelo, right? And so where are those sources? Where do we find these moʻolelo, if you guys don't already know? There's most of the, or a lot of the moʻolelo we typically look at were recorded or written down at least in the 1800s and early 1900s by a whole diverse set of people. Foreign-born people like Fornander and Westervelt from Sweden, Australia, the United States, and a bunch of amazing Hawaiian scholars as well. Samuel Kamakau, John Papa'i'i, Mary Kobena Kukui. And so there's all these different books where they're contained in, and I've put a bunch of them in that resource folder that you guys will get at the end. And I've also also there's some great electronic places like ulukau.org or sacredtexts.com is also a great place to find the original sources of these. Yeah, and so what we're going to do is we're going to look at a moʻolelo that was written down by William D. Westervelt. He has a whole book, and it's Legends of Maui. Okay, we're going to investigate a little bit more. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and give you guys another link. I kind of I kind of edited this a little bit because Westervelt, he goes through and gives all the different versions of this story from, you know, Maui is a pan-Pacific character, right? So you have moʻolelo of Maui from Tonga, from Aotearoa, from Samoa, and all these different places. And so I kind of edited it down to make it a little bit more manageable for us today. There it is. Should be a Google Doc. Okay, and what I want you guys to do is let's open it up, read it through, one fast one, but I want you guys to write down on the side, or you guys can just highlight the places, because those are going to be our place marks, right? So any place name, go ahead and write it down. Yeah, and then I'm going to show you how to find those in the next step. Yeah, so just a repeat of the directions. Click on the link and open up that Maui the Fisherman Google Doc. It's only a couple pages long of the story. Read it and write down the place names. Okay, so we got Mauna Kea, Haleakala. What is the first one? Kauiki. Okay, and remember, there's lots of different versions of these stories. Yeah, so there will be different place names and different versions. And what we did with Holo Mai Pele is we combined a bunch of them. Okay, that's okay. Okay, so we're starting to get these places, yeah? I know you guys have read the whole thing when I see. Oh yeah, Hilo Harbor, there it is. Okay, we're getting to the end. Mokuola. Okay, so people, awesome. You guys are awesome. You guys are throwing them up in the chat, so we all have them. Okay, so if you're still reading, that's fine. That means you're reading for depth and not speed. Okay, but we're gonna take these places that we identified and we're gonna add them to our project. Okay, so I'm gonna throw another link for you guys up there, and this is to Ulukau, which if you don't know about this website, your brain is about to explode. It's amazing. Okay, and this is to a part of Ulukau where you can search or browse for Hawaiian place names. If you missed the links in the chat, that's okay. I'm gonna there's a document in the resource folder at the end, and in the presentation that I put in there, it has all the links. So if you missed them, that's okay. And maybe at the end we'll just put them all again. But here's the one to ulukau.org. Okay, and I'm also sharing my screen. Still. Okay, so it should take you to here, Hawaiian place names. Okay, and you can read it in Olelo Hawaii if you prefer that. Okay, or you can read it in English. We're just going to keep it in English. Okay, we're going to search for the first one So I click search. Yeah, and I'm gonna type it in. What's the first one? It's Kauiki. Kauiki. Enter. Okay, the first one is on Lanai. Well, that can't be right. Yeah, because where does our story take place? It takes place on. Oh, and there's another one on Oahu. I wonder if all these are related to Maui in somewhere. And there's another one in Oahu and another one on Lanai. Okay, and I'm scrolling down. Ah, here's one in Maui, and it says Kauiki Head. And I remember in the story it said something about a head. Yeah, so I think that is our one. Place name Kauiki Head. It's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 down. Ninth one down. So I'm gonna click on that one. Oh, and it says home of the demigod Maui. Okay, so shucks, we're in the right place. Okay, this is the right place. And look, it comes with a map. Holy smokes. Okay, and if I click on view larger map, it'll take me to that place. Okay, so it's in Hana, and there's this big bay, and it's this hill to the south. Okay, so now I have to remember that, because I'm going to go back to my project. Sorry, there's no easy way to transfer them. I'm going to go back to my project, and I'm going to find that place. I'm going to zoom in to, oh, there it is, Hana, and then there it is. Okay, so I'm going to add a feature, add a new feature, add a place mark, okay, and I'm going to put it right on the hill and click. I'm going to title it Kauiki. Save. Boom! Our story is progressing. Yeah, and if I want to edit that place, I can click on the little button and you can add a picture, you can add a text. Maybe I'll put where Maui lived. Simple. Okay, and Google auto saves for us, so that's pretty awesome. You can change the way the place marks show up if you want. Got all these different ones. You can change the color, etc., etc. Oh, look, it made it way out in the ocean for some reason. But you can shift that. Okay, so what time is it? 11:14. Okay, so try use the ulukau. Okay, you can also just search for it as well if it's like a common thing, like haleakala. If you just search for that, definitely should come up #1, and you could add that. Just write in Google Earth, you could do that. Okay, but ulukau is because there's so many, right, that we saw in ulukau. It's really nice to make sure that you're in the right place for moʻolelo. Okay, questions? You can unmute. Thank you, people that have your cameras on. You're showing me that you guys are working.
Aloha. I'm so sorry I came late. First of all, mahalo. This is amazing. My name is Lusana. How do I get to where you're at? Because I missed the beginning. I came late. So sorry. So do I need to open up Google Maps on my laptop?
Open up Google Earth the web version. So just go to Google and put in Google Earth Web.
Please.
And it'll load up and you click launch. And then once you get to where your screen kind of looks like what I'm showing, that means you're in the right place and you're going to start a project. So let us know when you get.
This is so amazing. Thank you. Okay.
What did I see?
Okay, if you guys are adding place marks, try to do like some different features, you know, because this moʻolelo, it starts out in a place and then it has a bunch of stuff about Maui, right? So there you could add a movie. Our preschool or kindergarten teachers, you guys could actually read the story in segments and put it in a video or audio, right? And the kids could click along to that. They could read.
Did you take off the pepperoni?
Yeah, even though our kids are whizzes at technology. You can add a full screen slide. Those are nice to do for real big pictures, or maybe you want to add a fishing one in there to bring this moʻolelo to life. Yeah, so it's your project. You guys make it alive. Bring it to life. And remember, we're trying to connect to Aina. Somebody asked me, how do you move, or how do you edit the place mark? You just click on that little, what do you call it? The little pencil. And then once you do that, you can drag the place mark where you want. Oh, do you have a simple, easy guide to show the steps to get started and connected? If you start the project, there's a tutorial on it. It's okay. But in that resource folder, I think I put it in there. I made like a little screencast of kind of this process. So it should be in the resource folder at the end. Okay, how are we doing with time? We got 4 minutes. Oh, somebody asked, where's the resource folder? I haven't put it in the links yet, but I will put it up there. Don't worry. You know what? I'm gonna put it up there right now. Okay, and if I told you something was in there and it's not, I will go back and I'll add it. Ooh, somebody just copied and pasted the coordinates from Ulukau. You know that would give me issues ever? No, I never tried it that way. Super smart. Ooh, I see people's wheels are turning. Yay. Okay, so there's the link to the resource folder. You guys should be able to add that to your own drive and edit as you want. It doesn't have everything, but it'll give you a start if you need things. Okay, so yep, we did that. Hawaiian place names. I encourage you guys all to dig, to question more, as Maui did. It's in his name. Yeah, Ma is that directive, although his has a ka'ako, but right, by means of asking a question. Yeah, continue to dig, to continue to question as Maui always was, to continue to innovate. Use this tool. It's just a tool, right? It's only as good as we make it. Okay, but for mo'olelo and things that are driven by Aina, an awesome way to get yourself and your students and your communities to these places to bring these stories hopefully more alive for us. Other mo'olelo that you can use, and some that I've done already, is Kohala Ku'a Mo'o. That is an awesome mo'olelo that talks about Kamehameha's birth and how the place names in Kohala really are tied to that story. Ku'ula and I is a Maui type of character, and he goes around and establishes Ku'ula fishing shrines all over the place. Kamiki, that is a legendary story, super long but super amazing. So many place names in that. Pele and Hi'iaka, the kind of the second part to this migration. Other Maui stories like Puna and Hina, if you're in Hilo, the way they travel up Wailuku River, you can map that out. Laie Kawai, Pele and Waka, and there's a bunch more. I'm sure you guys all have moʻolelo for your spaces that maybe this would be useful for. If you have questions, there's me. My email is at the bottom, McNaught@ksbe.edu. Welcome your questions. I am by no means an expert in anything really, but you know, if I can help you out, just let me know. But you know, at least maybe you guys can take this tool and innovate it. I'm sure there's some amazing. Hopefully, there's some amazing things to come out of it. Mahalo to you guys. Mahalo to my alakai wherever you are, Trish and Donna, and mahalo. I hope you guys have a great lunch and a great rest of your day. So ahui ho. Mahalo, you guys.
Mahalo nui loa, Blake.
Mahalo.
So everybody in the audience, thank you for participating.